I'm looking at this camera. It's cold outside. I'm nice and cozy, but Mitchell Porter Leash Podcast. I'm joined with
Darryl Silverstein, owner of Birdy, proud dad, proud husband, and so happy to be here.
I love that, my guy. There's a lot that we have to talk about.
Absolutely.
You know, before we get into Birdy,
Sure.
we got to talk Toronto Blue Jays.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Phenomenal season.
Oh, it's tremendous.
Right? I'm not a Jays fan myself in Boston.
I know.
But
you tell me all the time.
Give me how you think this World Series actually went from your point of view.
From my point of view, as a Canadian, as a Torontonian, and as a baseball fan, a Toronto Blue Jay fan, couldn't go any better. Sometimes the chase is better than winning. The city, this country, rallied behind a team. And if you just think about it, the team did amazing. Sure, you always want to win. They want to get the ring and the parade, and everyone wants to buy the merch. But if we think about the city and the country, that chase is going to follow us for a couple of years, and everybody wants it really badly next year. But then you got to think, enrollment for baseball is going to be up. Fairweather fans are back. Bandwagon fans are back. People are going to come to games next year. That snowball effect is going to be great. So overall, it's a tremendous success. Sure, we didn't win, but maybe next year. And that's the best thing. That's the great thing about sports, baseball. It's all a metaphor. So it was overall, to me, it was a positive year.
There's a lot there what you're saying, because I want to really look at the Fairweather fans.
Yes.
Right? Because you got the camaraderie of the country, and I get that.
Of course.
Love that. It's good to see, because you don't see that with like even teams that you cheer for in sports, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're maybe like, I'm a Patriots fan. We're 8-2
I
prior
know.
recording this.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're in New England, Boston, you're getting everything that you need to see and hear,
Absolutely.
right? But I think what's so special with Canada, I would really hope this really trickles in to the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Absolutely.
Because we do need to see that happen as well.
You're lucky because you're a Boston fan. You have all Boston teams, right? Maybe not
Not
the
all,
Bruins,
not all,
right?
not
But
all.
you had said to me you're a New England fan, you're a Red Sox fan. That city is the city of champions. And it's for that, for a reason, right? You've had decades of Tom Brady. You've had greatness with Nomar Garciaparra and a lot Mo Vaughn and so much
giving me goosebumps right now, man.
But then you think about a city like Toronto, where we're not notoriously known for winning championships, except for in 2019 with the Raptors. But we saw how the country rallied behind the Raptors. But it's different with baseball for some reason. And it probably is a little bit of nostalgia. People remember what it was like in the glory days. And the Raptors may be going through their glory days now, but they're up and down. I do hope it translates into the Leafs, because you've seen this transition now of, there's high ticket prices, and are they corporate fans? When some things that people, Barstool fans and people that go to chat at the bar, or guys that get together, they talk about all the times. Are the true fans going to those games? When you go to watch a Leaf playoff game, is it like that? The bars do really well. House parties do really well. People ordering food. I hope it translates, because I hope owners see that people want to see their teams win. Like, it was big when the Jays were getting a little bit more and a little bit more and close World Series, and then you start seeing people talking about it. I had people reach out to me who I haven't talked to in so long, and they know that me as the baseball guy. Baseball, Darryl, what do you think? What do you think about the pitching? Who they have on their rosters? People I never would have thought. But for them if that translates into like Hockey Town, this city would just rally behind the Leafs to be insane.
Party will be all the way down the 401 highway.
Absolutely.
I guarantee it. You know what I mean? Let's harp on this, because I think now we look at the camaraderie of the players.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you who I love prior to recording this.
Sure.
Shout out to Nathan, Neighborhood Creative, the boys, everything like that, Grid Studio. Ernie Clement.
Yes.
Now, as a Boston guy, I might have to get an Ernie Clement jersey.
Yeah.
Because Ernie Clement is the epitome of just humbleness.
Yes.
And he's got that grit and that grind.
Yeah.
That you miss from a lot of teams in sports.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And things like that.
But you know what it reminds me of? A Canadian. The grit and the grind. Is that not pure Canadian? And they said he played hockey. And just the way he has fun, it almost seems like he's not the stereotypical major leaguer. He goes out there, he has fun. He's got the red batting gloves, got the red belt, a little bit different. But the way he just goes out there and you never think Ernie Clement's going to have the most hits in playoffs. And in 30 years, that may be a record that's never broken. People may go, who's Ernie Clement? Or 2025 was the baseline, and this guy is just going to be a superstar that really nobody knew of except for management in the Toronto Blue Jays. I mean, I think that there's so many Canadians on this team that are going to be adopted Canadians, like David Schneider, a guy that rolls with a mustache and, has fun and has Pink Pony Club, and everybody at Rogers Centre was singing along to it. These guys are just having fun. And I think that translates, that teammates, that camaraderie, when you love each other, that's the best. Those are the best teams.
And you're speaking too with Barger coming in because Santander was banged up.
Yeah.
And I even, beginning of the season, I said Santander coming from Baltimore, knowing what he did in Baltimore,
He was dangerous.
can hit RBIs, home runs, and an off season with the injuries and things like that, which it would have been very interesting because it's like a blessing in disguise. We probably would have never got to see Barger.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's always what's meant to be is meant to be. We were talking about that, right?
Yeah. And I remember going to the game. It was against the Angels. And I believe Barger hit a home run that weekend.
Okay.
And I'm like, you can see where his game is starting to elevate as well.
Yeah.
But then it's like, what do you now do coming into next year? Because it's like Santander's got to be there.
Or maybe not.
Sometimes
the competition creates the best out of everybody. The first time I saw Barger swing, I went, wow, this guy's got quick bat speed. He's going to be dangerous. And he had a great year. But I think he's at the beginning of a strong career, and Santander may plateau. And now you got to go, okay, what's the guy's salary? We got a young guy. Could he be around a little more? Could we get the best out of somebody like Barger versus somebody else?
Good defender too.
Yeah, and but what I love about Barger is he plays multiple positions. So his value to the team is actually worth way more than everybody else. When you look at a lot of guys, Clement can play multiple positions, Schneider can play multiple positions, but Barger, I've said it throughout the playoffs. I was like, he is my favorite player. I was like, why? I'm like, he's fast. He's got a great arm. He had that great play in right field where he threw somebody out. And just offensively, he's going to be a threat. And they only get better. With the major league coaches, he's only going to get better.
I love that.
I
love that. What do you think they need to focus on in the offseason?
Ooh, that's a
bat?
great question.
Another bat? Pitching?
Yeah, I think when you're always building a roster for a baseball team, you always want to base it around pitching and defense for me. I think the hitting's going to come around. They've got a lot of guys already in place that can hit, but they're going to lose some veteran pitchers. But I love what they did. I love how they had Bassett and Scherzer among some other veterans, and they're going to build. So maybe one other veteran in the starting rotation would be great. Bullpen, I think for years every team wants to have a strong bullpen. I think they came close. But other than that, I like where they are. I think that they've got a lot of the great elements right now, and they're just going to live off this for next year. They're going to go in there in spring training. The boys will be back, and I think if they can pick up a couple of people, that would be amazing.
You ready for my hot take?
Yes, please.
Josh Naylor.
Ooh.
First baseman.
Yeah.
And then moved Vladdy to DH. I know some folks are going to say, well,
what about Springer?
Yeah. Springer might banged up, right?
Yeah.
So we don't know, but it's like if I'm looking at this from a strategic perspective, what you have in Naylor at first base, I think he's maybe a little bit better than Vladdy on the defensive side at first base.
Yeah.
Because we saw that in Cleveland. We saw that in Seattle.
Yeah.
So now it's like put Vladdy at DH and let him cook, right?
Yeah, just focus on hitting, man. That's it. That's all you got to do.
And then I don't know what you do with Springer. I think maybe try to ship him out. Maybe you can get
a pitcher for him.
Get a pitcher.
Yeah.
Things like that.
It's unfortunate people have a shelf life, but what I love about Naylor, and I saw this so much when he was playing in Toronto, when he was with Seattle during the playoffs, he's from Mississauga.
Yeah.
Is that not amazing?
That's what I'm saying.
You got a guy that's local. And for years, I always wished the Jays got Joey Votto. Like, that would have been great. And for whatever reason, he was loyal to Cincinnati, and that's fantastic. But Naylor was with Cleveland. Then he was with, I believe, Arizona, and now he's with Seattle. But for him to come home, I mean, you have an automatic superstar. And the cool thing about him is that he's a big dude, but he steals a lot of bases. And when he reads the pitchers really well, he's a smart, heads-up, baseball IQ, high baseball IQ baseball player. I would love for him to come to Toronto. I just love it when we have Canadians because it's an automatic superstar. It's built in, and he can back it up because that guy can hit. I
said this to a couple guys. Look at De La Cruz from Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah.
If you could somehow make that happen.
Yeah.
Because now you got a guy that, yes, he can hit home runs.
Yeah.
But if he's on base, That's automatic.
Yeah.
Second base.
When he came out a couple of years ago, I thought this guy's going to be just like the best player. And he had an interesting year this year. I think the pitchers started to better understand him, but overall, my goodness, he was just outstanding. Yeah.
And management, I believe, had these boys playing the way they needed to play too. And what I like about the manager for the Jays, his name was
John Schneider.
John Schneider, yeah. Right? What I liked about him is that even in the press conferences and things like that, he was so dialed in.
Yeah.
And you can see that he brought that sense of urgency.
Yes.
You could kind of feel like a little Cito Gaston.
Sure.
You could feel that,
yeah.
Right? And it's good to see that because with any team, you need to have good coaching.
Absolutely.
And you need to have that motivator.
Yeah. I coach, and what I noticed a lot about him was he gives the recognition where it is. He's the first person to say, that team today did great. He calls out perfect the pitchers. He'll call it the hitters. He doesn't say this was me or the lineup that I built. He's all about complimenting. And what I also like is that he's young. And that he can relate to the guys. I'm not saying that old managers can't relate, but the modern baseball player is different than maybe 20 or even 10 years ago. The way they relax in the clubhouse is different. And he's been around the Toronto organization, I think they said about 20 years. So he's seen these guys, from when they get drafted or when they come in from Rule 5 draft or when they get traded to the team. And he gets to understand. It seems like he had such a unique relationship with them. But when they won their first when they won the division rather, and the way that they partied, it just that the group was like, we did it. Like we believed in ourselves. When the beat writers and the writers and the baseball writers didn't believe in us, we believe in ourselves. And that comes from the top. And he had a great crew. I loved how he was always talking to Don Mattingly or Pete Walker, so his pitching coach, his bench coach, his hitting coach. And he delegated, and they got a brand new hitting coach this year. And obviously we saw them score more runs. That's the sign of a great leader. Like it started with him. And when they didn't do well, he's like, hey, it's okay. We're going to come back. We never said we were going to go undefeated in this whole thing. And I love how he just motivated those guys. And he was out there and he played different kind of baseball. He played small ball. Like he would bunt. He would do hit and runs. He would do things just to score the runs. That not unheard of. But he kind of went back and did a little bit of like the youth baseball approach to it.
I hope for when the schedule releases,
yeah.
we see Dodgers
early.
Dodgers, Blue Jays early. I'd love to see that because I think that we need it.
Yeah.
We saw where there was a little bit adversity with the hit on the hit on Buddy's arm.
Oh yeah.
Right
yep.
When they had the bench clearing, which I was like, you guys are running out there. Nothing's gonna happen.
Nothing's gonna happen. Not today.
High stakes,
yep.
You know what I mean, and things like that. But I think now it's like you have a little bit of a little rivalry there. It's going to get a little chippy, and I would like to see that. Four game series, maybe 3 game series.
Sure.
On the weekend,
that'd be great.
Bring people here early.
Yes.
You know what I mean. Hence MLB, if you're listening, maybe Canada Day, you do that. It would be nice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Retribution to Toronto and things like that, but.
So what going into the World Series, I was trying to find the storyline. So they had Ohtani. Okay, he was going to come to Toronto, and he was on the plane, and he was in the limo, and then he did meet, but they didn't meet. Then he has the hat, and then you have Freddie Freeman, who's his parents are born in Canada. He plays for Canada. You've got some unique storylines, but boom, instantly, Game 1, the way that the Jays played, you got to remember the Dodgers came in like a UFC champion defending their title. They were walking into their proverbial octagon as the champion. So they're defending their championship. And the Blue Jays went, hey, we're going to go toe-to-toe in the middle of the octagon, and we're going to put you against the cage. We're going to put you against the ropes. We're going to put you in tough situations. And when everybody thought it's going to be a quick 4-game series, here they go. Not even to the 7th game. They literally, give me goosebumps. Like 7 games almost to the last inning. Like they were this far apart from actually win the World Series. So they gave the defending champions 12 good rounds right to the bell.
So speak to the sliding into the base.
Sure.
Because we know that
now you're going to get me going.
If you head for a slide, he's probably safe. Let's be honest.
So as a coach, everybody likes to talk about that play, that specific play. I will say it's everything encompassing. You should never blame a player or a coach on that play. They should have just scored more runs. It never should have gotten to that point. So when I'm coaching my guys, if it gets to a play where somebody makes an error and they're so down on themselves, I'll go, hey, it's not your fault. We got to a position where the ball happened to be hit to you or you were up, but it's not your fault that happened. We should have put yourself into a better position that we never had to worry about you making that error because it could have been anybody. But that all being said, when I coach third, I always walk down the third base line. I usually just draw a line with my foot, and I'll say, try and get here. Like if the pitch comes in, by the time the catcher throws, let's see if we can creep a little more. Never that we're going to steal home, but it's never automatic. And I always say, run back in fair territory. Could he have taken more? Absolutely.
More of a leadoff.
Yeah. Could the coach have walked down the line a little bit more? Absolutely. But there's so much going on in that game. It's late in the game. He's playing defensively. He's on third base. The crowd's going nuts. There's emotions. He's literally 90 feet away from winning the championship. There's so much emotion. Pass ball. What do I do? How do I slide? Where could the ball go? What pitch is coming? Nobody really thinks that, but he is. And it's unfair to him. But if the Jays scored more runs before, then he would never have been in that situation. But it's tough.
There's so many plays that happened in that game.
The collision in left field.
The collision, that's why I wanted to get to. Andy Page is making a you got Moss moment for NFL football term.
Yeah.
I thought the game was over.
Yes, me too. Because
when the ball was in the air, I was like, this game's done.
Yeah, they're playing so in, which is fine. In. Yeah.
And then he just jumped up and flatlined Kiki.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm sitting here and I'm like, damn. Everything you wanted to go right went wrong.
That's right.
It felt like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it's for a reason. Mm-hmm. And we have to find that silver lining. And we don't know what the baseline is yet. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's next year. Maybe it's the year after. Because I always think back to the Blue Jays between 89 and 93. Mm-hmm. 89, they came close. 85, they won. They didn't win the championship, but they went to the ALCS. In 89, they came close. 90, they didn't. 91, they had the All-Star game. They were building. 92, 93, they won. So they may have the right ingredients to make the cake, but maybe they need to just switch out the brand of some of the ingredients. So I think it's close. Like they're there, but it's for a reason. And maybe if they won, next year wouldn't have been as sweet, or in 2 years wouldn't have been as sweet. But going back, we've got some new superstars.
But
now.
you see how the AL is, right? Mm-hmm. Because you got Boston Red Sox play Toronto very strong.
Oh, absolutely.
But then Toronto plays the Yankees very strong.
Right.
And then Yankees will end up beating us. And then Baltimore's is kind of just there.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I always think of it like if we beat them and they beat us, or are we better than them? It's hard to play that way. It's hard to think that way. Because baseball's such a unique sport. There's injuries. There's people taking time off. There's load management. There's so much that happens. The American League is strong, but it was made for teams like the Blue Jays. Like you go back and you look at just the concept of look at the Jays. They all get on base. Old school money balls, not old school, but it's about 20-year-old theory, but they get on base. The Yankees are a power hitting club. Boston, a little bit of a hybrid of both. And I'm very interested to see what's going to happen next year with Boston.
Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah, there's so many things.
Get crazy.
But to think that Baltimore, everybody was thinking was going to be the perennial AL East champions and then American League champions, they bottom out. Tampa, which is always a good team, they bottom out. And then who you left with? It's usually the same old. Boston and New York.
Houston
was good. Seattle had a great year. And then you're just watching like, okay, could our Blue Jays do this? Can they sneak through? And it wasn't even sneaking through. They were making powerful statements. Like, we are here. We believe in ourselves. We're going to do this. And it was it was unbelievable.
I'll say one name that I feel like if I'm Toronto, you probably go get him from the Athletics. And I love his swing. I love his motion. You probably know who I'm talking about here. Brent Rooker.
Well, he would be great too.
Brent Rooker in that park could be damaging.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. And it's guys like that you see, like, they're on other teams right now, and you're like, well, what do you like? You know what I mean? Yeah. You got to still play the game and stuff like that, but you're over there and like, just it's poverty ridden. You know what I mean? You're only winning maybe 50 games,
right?
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Come over to a deeper team. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because I can tell you right now, I know the Yankees will spend that money for him.
Of course. And there's teams that people always think of. Oakland or like the Athletics would be one team. The Jays have a great back history with the Guardians because Shapiro and Atkins come from there, so they know a lot of those guys. And you just got to think, okay, they know. Well, also they have a great scouting. Obviously, if we just see the Blue Jays, a lot of people have never heard of before. So huge compliments to everybody in the front office that goes completely unnoticed. But there's so many guys when you do watch, you go to a game, you watch on television, you go, okay, what would they look like in the double blue? What would they look like with a Blue Jay and a maple leaf on them? Would that really be good? And yeah, and sometimes it does. And like your example, it would be so sweet to have him on the team. But you think, where do we give up? But I would love to see a monster trade in the offseason or a huge pickup. And just because everybody's right now, we're riding that high. So we hit the crescendo. We lost to the World Series. Now it's like, okay. Now everyone's talking. Who are we signing? Who's out there?
Kel Marte is another name.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys.
Kel would be good. Good second baseman.
Yeah.
Guy that can get on base. Not the healthiest guy, though. Yeah. That's the thing going into this.
Or do we get back Bo? And, what happens there?
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you, because Bo now is being linked to the Dodgers, which I'm like,
it's business. It's business.
You know what I mean?
Business. It's business.
Yeah.
It's business. To them, they're their brand. Where they go is where they go. And it's just the jersey. Obviously, they if he comes back, we'll embrace him. And Toronto was amazing. We love to keep the Vladdy Bo connection, but it's business. It's sport business. If he gets a contract and an ability to play there, and it's good for him and his family or his future family, I have no problem with that.
Before we switch directions,
right,
and really get into the meat and potatoes of the conversation, name one J, either playing or retired, you'd want to sit down with and actually have a deep dive, like conversation, life, baseball, things like that.
Does it have to be a Blue Jay or anybody?
Could be anybody.
So I am lucky that I have like a dad that just told me so much about baseball when I was younger. When I was incredibly young and getting to appreciate the sport, he had said, you got to understand and appreciate this sport. It's a sport that you play, but he wasn't an athlete. And he'll watch this, and I think everybody agrees he is not an athlete. But he had said, you have to appreciate the sport that you're playing. So I grew up learning about baseball players, Ted Williams. My dad got me this Ted Williams hitting book, and I learned hitting through reading. And then he told me about Jackie Robinson, how he played in Montreal, or Roberto Clemente and how he played in Montreal. And then he would tell me names like, you're a catcher, so you need to know about Yogi Berra, you need to know about Johnny Bench, you need to know about Josh Gibson. And I was like, well, who are these guys? He's like, well, he's the Black Babe Ruth. Like, that's like, no, I didn't know that at the time. Right? There's all these players that you just weren't aware of. He's like, you need to know, because if you're going to play the sport and you're going to be who you are, and you're going to love and embrace the sport, you got to know these players. I think that's one of the best questions I've ever been asked. To me, I would love to, if I ever had the chance to sit down with Jackie Robinson. So I'll tell you why. When I went to Cooperstown in 91 with my parents and my brother, I walked away with a Brooklyn Dodgers hat and a Jackie Robinson jersey. Don't ask me why. The team was defunct. And since then, I have 2 Jackie Robinson jerseys. I don't know why, but I just found like a real cool affinity to him for some reason. But it was just the stories, right, that I learned. And then I did a couple of projects on him. It was because I was really interested about why Canada embraced him, why he wasn't embraced, because I was a youngster, could understand it, but also that we were, as Canadians, so embracing, and that he was the first to do things, which was amazing, and then have this unbelievable Hall of Fame career, and how he played football at UCLA, and how his legacy just continues to live on. But the fact that Montreal, Canada embraced him and treated him just like anybody else, I love. So he would be somebody I would love. Unfortunately, can't, but that would be remarkable. And now to see that his legacy lives on, like, I'm very big on legacy. There's, the day that he broke the color barrier, everybody in the major leagues wears number 42. Absolutely. You can never wear 42 ever again. That is incredible. Like,
changing the game.
Yes. Babe Ruth, for as great as Babe Ruth is and was, and the legacy, we don't have a number 3 day, right? We don't. As great as Wayne Gretzky is in hockey, there's no 99 day. So
getting deep now. This
right?
is some thoughts that just came up from
right?
my mind. Right
but
now.
we do have a day where everybody wears Roberto Clemente's jersey, and you have a day where everybody wears the number rather, and the day that everybody wears Jackie Robinson. And to me, being a Canadian, knowing that they came through Montreal, that hits all the checkpoints for me.
That.
Yeah,
I love that.
So that would be it.
So Darryl, my man, baseball. From what we just gathered into, just talking about the Jays, it lives and breathes through you.
Yes, sir.
Being that coach.
Yep.
What level are you coaching at?
So now I do, I would call it international.
Okay.
So I coach U17 and last year a U15 international team based out of Toronto. So it's a Toronto All-Star team, and we take them for a week. This year we're hosting this tournament in Toronto, but usually it's last year we had one in Tucson, Arizona, Pittsburgh, Fort Lauderdale, Michigan, and that's the level where I'm coaching now. But before that, I was coaching my son both my sons at one point from T-ball all the way up to, and my one son continued on to what they call elite baseball and certified coach. And I was lucky enough to win Coach of the Year for Ontario and Canada in 2024. And I love that I'm able to give back. That's the legacy, to know that I want to be the coach that when these kids end up becoming a dad, that they hopefully think of me. Like I'm somewhere on their shoulder.
I can see that.
Yeah, that's the goal.
From the 45-minute phone call conversation I've had with you.
Yeah.
And just now sitting here, you get that.
Thank you.
That sense of just purpose that I feel like we're missing it a lot in life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We need more leaders. We need more coaches that actually care about the community and the kids.
Yeah. I had somebody just DM me randomly on Instagram because they're starting a sports, like hitting baseball fundamentals clinic. And they're like, we have just some questions because we're starting out and we're not feeling like we're connecting. And it says on my bio, like baseball coach, I would ask you. I was like, what you need to do, no matter what the level is, when they were 6 or 8 or 16 or now even 17, you got to get to know them. Like it's not transactional. Parents just don't drop off their kid and leave. Now the kid's there, but you just got to get to know them. So when they're 7 or 8 years old, like, what are you into? Like, tell me what you're like. When they're 17, they all have a football team that they like, right? And sometimes we'll have a practice. We'll say, all right, we're like with this team, we'll meet once a month. So wear your favorite NFL team, jersey, hat, whatever. Keep it light. Like that, and then it strikes up conversation. Oh, you're a Steelers fan. Oh, they're garbage. Or you're a Pats fan. Oh, I hate their new quarterback. But that's what it's all about. It's that personalization, and then you build on that. So they come to the yard. They're putting on their cleats. Hey, let's say one's in music. I had a player that played for me named Owen, and he loves basketball. So I would say, tell me about prime Derrick Rose, and he's like, whoa, and he's just talking. Prime Derrick Rose. And I was like, all right, cool. And then he's like, and you just listen and now he's thinking, coach listens to me. He appreciates me. He's sitting down on the bench while I put my cleats on. And I'm just telling him about prime Derrick Rose. And I was like, yeah, I don't know prime Derrick Rose. But he said he was in the basketball. And I know Derrick Rose that's a great question to ask somebody. And then I had a kid who played for me that was the biggest LeBron fan. And I would say, LeBron's garbage. And he would say, oh. But you know what I mean? Like, just as a joke. But when you're in left field and they're stretching or they're playing catch and you just walk by and you say, LeBron's garbage. And he's like, no, he's not. I'm like, and all game, that's just because let's say he's a starting pitcher or he's got in a big position. I want them just to chill. I was just coaching in a quarterfinal game in this international tournament. And it was a stressful situation for a pitcher. And I just called time. I walked out there and I just gave him a joke, just a really off-centered joke. And he's laughing. And after the game, his dad said, what would you guys talk about? I said, I just told him a really inappropriate joke. And he laughed. That's what it is. It's just having fun. It's a kid's game. Right? That's what it is. And sometimes we all get wrapped up on, let's go and, run your polls and hurry up. Just have fun. This life is too short. It's a magic carpet ride. Let's just have some fun.
I love that. You speak about life.
Yes.
Being a journey.
Yes.
For yourself. Speak a little bit about like the key points on your journey and
things
like that. for the audience, because I know a little bit about it.
Yeah.
Because we could literally go for 5 hours. I already know this could be folks. It's a 5-hour podcast. I'm telling you, it could be.
So when I was 13 years old, I lost vision in my left eye, and that really was the baseline of who I am and the person that I've become. Because when you go through a youth trauma of any sort, there's really 2 ways you can go through it. You can either be incredibly positive, or it could be negative. And my dad took me on a drive. We live in Vaughan, Ontario, which is just above Toronto. And we went for a long drive. And I was 13. And he had communicated to me after I lost vision, you have to start setting goals. This is going to define who you are. And the easy thing to do is to go in the wrong direction, because it's going to be there. Being upset, blaming yourself, blaming others, drugs, alcohol, that's going to be there. It's the easy thing. It's like right in front of you. It's going to be there, because a lot of people fall into that category. Or you can start goal setting. What's that goal going to become? So I immediately thought, I was 13, could I be the youngest, or could I be the first blind baseball player in the major leagues? Yes, you can, but you're going to have to make some sacrifices. Okay. And that was it. Like, that was the moment where it clicked. So that summer, and the next summer when I was 14, I had to learn, I had no depth perception. So I had to learn how to hit again. I had to learn how to throw again.
Was that from a sports injury though?
No, they call it idiopathic. Really? So it's a degenerative disease. So how I live is, amongst a lot of other things that have happened to me, it's going to happen in my good eye eventually. So they don't have a reason. It's a degenerative disease, and I just don't worry. So whenever I speak to people, I'm always trying to be positive. I'm always trying to be happy.
I get that.
I'm always trying to get a smile. Because let's say you and I have a negative argument, we're just upset at each other, and then I go blind tomorrow morning. Like, I woke up one morning at 13, I could not see out of my eye. That is a trauma, and I had to overcome that. Now, if I go blind tomorrow and I go, oh my goodness. So Rory and I were in this argument, and the last thing I have of him is him being negative of me. I can't really see that actual smile. So I always want to tell people that I love them, that I care about them. If there's ever a disagreement, I want to just fix it, because that's been embedded in me since I was 13. That's who I've always been. Like, I'm very close to my friends, my inner circle, with my wife and my kids and my family, and especially the kids that I coach, because I care. And when they leave, if they're leaving, let's say the ball game, or my kids are having a bad day, let's just try and work on switching that. That's where the positivity comes from. And so I kind of like define my eras, right? Like, and that's one era. And then in 2023, I had a massive seizure, which led to me being diagnosed of having brain cancer. So that really changed perception. But people like my dad and Amy, my wife, will say, like, you're very positive through this. And people say, like, I can't believe you've gone through extensive radiation and chemotherapy. But my baseline was being blind in one eye. Like, that was my baseline. That youth trauma helped me figure out, okay, how do I get through this? What's my goal going to be? I want to go back and coach. So how quickly can we get through radiation and chemotherapy so I can get back on the field? And that's why I guess I am the way I am.
And there's a lot that's there, because I think when some folks listen to your story, they're like, well, how did Darryl overcome all this adversity? And you can hear it, and you hear what you're speaking about.
Yes.
But then there's those folks that just flatline and they quit.
Well, that's my big thing. It's so easy to give up. It's so easy to wake up and go, I'm going to hit the snooze. I didn't get a good enough sleep. I blame myself. I blame others. We have a choice. The last time I checked, I didn't ask to be here. And you probably didn't ask. It wasn't like, hey, God, so there's this thing called the world, and I really want to be there. It seems really fun. It seems like it's up and down. The ups are ups and the downs are downs. We didn't get a choice, but let's make the best of why we're here, right? I think in my head, in my life, there's a couple of times where I would have hit the proverbial rock bottom, right? And it happens. Waking up one morning blind in one eye, that sucks. But what positive can come out of it? So I made some unbelievable teams. I played baseball in university. I won 2 championships. I have some incredible friends from just changing the way that I could have been negative. And then having brain cancer, everyone thinks, well, there's no positive with that, but there is, because now I care less about some things than I used to. Mm-hmm. I love people a lot more. I had a massive, I'm healthy, massive seizure. And you have to make a commitment to yourself every day. My commitment to myself, and that's for people like, I can't get out of bed. Well, you're not committing to yourself. I literally had to change my diet. No sugars, no breads, no red meats. That's my commitment to myself. To walk every day, that's not easy. To give up weightlifting, like in lifting weights, that's not easy. But I have really positive people around me. I have an incredible family, a very close inner circle, and there's nothing worse than that.
But what you're speaking to, and I got that a lot in our conversation when we were doing the discovery of doing this podcast, and you speak very highly of your wife. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing I hear. And now this is like this man talk now we're going to have on the podcast where when I see men can speak highly of their significant other, if it's a girlfriend or if it's your wife or whatever, it really speaks to how dialed in they are. And you have some folks that are like, well, he speaks about his wife. That means he bows to her or whatever. No. It shows you who people are.
Yes.
Because it's what gets you to the dance.
Yes.
And what keeps you there.
Yes.
And that there's that speech where they say is a man doesn't reach his full potential until he has the right woman in his life. Mm-hmm. Because you want someone that's going to supplement how you're navigating in the world.
Yes.
You get what I mean?
Yes.
And you get that and you see that. Because I'll be honest, y'all, I thought he was showing up with his wife. He said his wife was going to be here with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He didn't show up. Work.
It's okay.
Work be working.
Yeah.
Life and whatnot.
Yeah. And take care of the kids, you know,
exactly.
It's for me to be here on today, you know, although our kids are teenagers and they got a lot of running around, et cetera, but that's okay. But what I want to share with you is I have the absolute best friend who is my wife.
Love that.
That is what it is. Mm-hmm. And you have to go through different relationships to see that.
Whoo, let's go.
Okay. And that's okay. Mm-hmm. But I'm lucky to have Amy. She has been there. I've unfortunately she had to see the trauma that I went through, like the seizures. That one, the seizure that I had, it was massive. She was in the room when they said, you know, it's brain cancer. She was with me when I had to call my dad to deliver that news. But beyond that, isn't it fun to do all the best? Like I've got guy friends. We go out, we have guy trips, and we'll go out for dinner, etc. They'll come over. But when you're an adult, it changes. But I have a best friend who is my wife, where we can go for nature walks and talk about things and do just the most incredible things and have kids that are like, now that they're teenagers, they're like, we call them our broke best friends because we drive them around everywhere and they're so cool to hang out with.
What you're speaking to is that not every conversation we can have even with our guy friends, vice versa, even with our wives or our girlfriends and things like that, because there's a different sense of understanding. Mm-hmm. When you're a lady, you can be yourself around your lady.
Yes.
And there's no judgment.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I am myself.
I see that.
Yeah, I am myself. I think that's why people have these strong connections and relationships, because you are who you are. And I literally will do anything for her and she will do anything for me. I'll give you a prime example.
Let's talk about it.
When I was diagnosed with brain cancer, there were some things that were going to have to happen, okay? Like perhaps not being able to walk as thoroughly as I did. So we changed around the bottom of our house where we'd put a TV in and a pull-out mattress. But beyond that, there were countless days where radiation treatment started at 6 a.m.
Jesus.
Amy drove me, okay? And then she would go to work. And she would be there when I went in, and the type of radiation I had was long. It was like an hour and a half inside of a CT scan machine. So if you ever had MRI machine. So if you ever had a brain MRI, you know that those things are kind of claustrophobic, and they put a mask over me. And she was there when I was there to get dropped off, and she was there to pick me up, and then I would go to sleep and help me out tremendously. That's like when you take your vows, and it's not, they say like for better, for worse, that's what it is. Like there are so many good things. Like we celebrated our 40th birthday party. We had a big party with all of our close friends. We have people come over all the time. We go out on weekends. We go for walks. Like those are the best friend things. But then when you have to do chemotherapy and radiation and your body is broken, like there was a point going through radiation chemo, I said to Amy, I am so sick right now, but like, I will never give up. Like I will never give up, because I look at her and I'm like, she's worth living for. I look at my kids, I'm like, they're worth living for. And I love everybody around me. There was one day though, where I said to her, like, if I die today, just know that I'm okay, because I had so much radiation and chemotherapy in me, I couldn't move. Like, and your body kind of like overtakes it, and it's like I'm at peace. Like there's this, like I was like, I'm not going to close my eyes, because I was actually afraid of what could have happened. But I just was like, I love you. Like I want you to know I love you. And she's like, I know. But that's like I am blessed, because I had a life before I met Amy, and we got together and we have this beautiful family. We have 2 incredible boys, and the whole purpose of these boys is to give them a tremendously better life than we had. And I always say I had a good life. Like I played a lot of baseball and travel, but I will sacrifice all that for
That's
them.
what it's about. When your kids come into play, it's not really necessarily about us anymore. I don't have any kids myself.
No.
But it's like, it's about them.
It's 100% about them.
It's all about them.
And
the
I'm
travel,
lucky.
All of that. You know what I mean?
I'm lucky. I was able to coach my son in baseball. Now he's into kickboxing.
There you go.
And he's so into his studies. That's our eldest son, Wyatt. And my little guy, he's a rock star. Like he's literally, if anybody's listening, they need a punk rock drummer. I mean, he is, and he's so cool. They're both amazing. And it's like, it's a little bit of both of us. It's a little bit of Amy and a little bit of me and a little bit of Amy and a little bit of me. And we're very big on education, and we're very big on their post-school studies or activities, and we'll do everything for them.
How do y'all find the balance between work, building a brand, and like having that part, but then separating it from like the family?
So with Birdy, the kids are very involved. They're the ones who, if you order a package, it's probably been through their hands, because it's a job for them, right? It's an opportunity for that. So they get to learn about stock inventory. They get to learn about putting on gloves to look at a hat and how to put it into a box, how to fold the tissue paper, inventory on the boxes. Hey, we need some more of this. We're running out of pins. So, 9 to 5, it's work for Amy and I, and then we have the kids do their stuff. And then usually afterwards we go like, all right, how many sales do we get today? It's printed off. Or it's a weekend opportunity, but usually the kids are looking at Shopify going, all right, I'm going to take care of this one. You'll take care of this one. It's almost like laundry, dishes, Birdy. It's like at the end of the day, we're all putting it in at 8:30, 9 o'clock before we go to bed, and just putting out some orders. And then UPS comes and picks it up, and we're good.
How did Birdy start?
So that's a great question. I appreciate that. During the pandemic, we were all looking for things to do.
Weren't we all?
We were all looking for things to do.
I was doing a lot of Uber Eats, I won't lie. McDonald's and Wendy's.
Yes.
That's what I was doing.
Yes. And I love, as you know, like I've got a baseball tattoo. I love baseball. We've been through this. So I was getting to the point where I was like, all right, I'm going to order some like baseball merch. And I got this package in the mail, and it was just like a white package that just was like a t-shirt thrown in with like, and I just opened up. I said to Amy, there's got to be something like there's nothing about this. Like there's no bag that has like a story. I don't know. It was that, and that was like the beginning of it. And then I said to her, I think I'm gonna do this. And you got to remember, I'm a kind of person where if I'm in, I'm all in. So if I'm going to be a dad, I'm going to be all in on a dad. If I'm going to be a husband, I'm going to be all in as a husband. If I'm going to be a coach, I'm all in as a coach, right? Like that's just me. So I was like, okay, I'm going to start like brewing this up. Let's come up with some concepts. And I love fashion. In high school, I would consider myself a preppy. You probably saw me in the late 90s, early 2000s wearing pleated khakis and an Eddie Bauer sweater and a backwards cap. So a little bit of athleticism and a little bit of preppy. And I thought, okay, I can do this. I'm going to do this. So it was just like, let's come up with some funny ideas. Like what would be a t-shirt company, would be a hat company? Like where would we do? And that took months upon months upon months of just trial and error. And it was like, let's think of a name, or like what's big in baseball. So there's some brands that have key things like a baseball player. And I didn't want to do that. Like MLB has a baseball player, but then it was like, all right, so what does baseball have? Well, like they have a Yankee, they have a Red Sox. Okay, we could be Sox. There's 2 Sox. Well, it doesn't really hit with Canada too much. So the idea was, let's come up with Canada's baseball brand. Let's not be any team's affiliate or anything with anybody, but let's teach people about baseball. So like my dad took me to Cooperstown and told me about Jackie Robinson and Josh Gibson and Sandy Koufax. But there's so many baseball stories, like Babe Ruth hitting his first home run in Toronto. Nobody really knows that. Let's put that as part of our story.
That's new information for me today.
Yeah, Hanlon's Point. And then Cooperstown says that baseball was created in 1839 by Abner Doubleday, but Beachville, Ontario will say that they had the first baseball game in 1838. So our packaging is 1838. So we are consistently telling stories. And our gear and what we have, our apparel, is all nostalgic. So we trademark Canada's baseball brand. If you get a t-shirt, the bag that you get literally looks like a baseball uniform. It's got number 38 on the back. So we want to give that feeling. If you whether you play men's league or you're playing t-ball or you're playing in an elite league, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, soccer, getting your jersey, it's a cool day. That's an awesome day.
Yeah.
So you get that in the mail and you're like, oh, it's like getting my jersey. The package has arrived. So now I'm trying to check off the boxes from what I didn't get in that one delivery. I want that personal touch. Tissue paper, stickers, like everything's wrapped in tissue paper, stickers. We give you pins. It's just, we want to give you a complete experience from when you get J Birdy. And to me, the J is about the journey. That's what it is. Because for me, my baseball journey isn't over. I wanted to be the first blind baseball player in the MLB. That did not happen. I did not get my phone call on draft day. But I will tell you what's cool about J Birdy is a legacy. I've got 2 boys. They're my legacy. I've got Amy. She's my legacy. I know I'm sick and I'm going to battle brain cancer as much as I can. But Amy and I went to the Oasis concert and I saw J Birdy with my friend Jordan and his wife. And I saw a J Birdy shirt and I was like, holy cow, this is cool. Like I saw it there. And although I never played baseball I played baseball at Rogers Center a few times when I played for Brock, but I never played Major League Baseball. But when I go to a Rogers Center game and I see a J Birdy shirt or a J Birdy hat, it's like a major leaguer seeing their own gear at a game. So there's a legacy there. And then people saying, well, DMing like the company on Instagram and saying, we would love for you to come up with like this or that. Like people are so into the brand. And the Jays doing great is fantastic for us, but we already had a really good following before that. Obviously, the Jays doing well certainly helped.
Shit got crazy, probably.
Yeah, it got really crazy. My boys really knew how to get to work at that point. But it was good, and it was like, oh my God, we got how many packages today? And then, at the best sound, if you have a Shopify, is the cha-ching. And it was just going off, and that's amazing, and that's what we want. And the whole idea is Canada needed a baseball brand. There was an opportunity in the marketplace, so we did that. And we're not done. We're going to keep building some new brands.
I can tell you're not done.
Yeah,
I can see it.
Yeah, we're not done.
I can see it.
We're having fun doing it. It's a real cool family thing, but you can't stop me and you can't stop us, because the being blind in one eye was like who I was. Having brain cancer is who I am now. But we're going to do some really cool things and build a legacy.
And it's supporting independent too.
Yeah. Like we are total family business. When you talk about like what's a family business, but when you get something in the mail, the chances are it's the one of the 4 of us or all 4 of us put it together. And, it's not me necessarily. It's my boys. And it's good to teach them as well. But we are like local, we're as independent as it gets. We're a strictly online company, jbirdy.ca. And it's been so much fun doing this. And
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is that like you even look at the 3 hats here.
Sure.
Everybody can see this in the camera. Is that you look at the 3 hats, you see the concept designs, right? Like the blue one, that's a little bit of, that got that Toronto Blue Jays kind of throwback feel of the jersey. You have the black one that's over there. What does that one represent? Because I feel like that's, to me, when I look at that, it looks like more like that's not the limited edition one.
So that one there, we called it the Northern Blackbird. So the idea was when we came up with the concept, we wanted black and white with a little bit of red. So that was one of our originals, but it sold out really fast. We brought it back. We had an all black hat with similar to this. This is the dad hat version. We call it the coach hat version. And those ones they look nice. I was creatively thinking, like, what would I wear? Like that's really what it was. Like what would I design that I would wear? So that one's called, the first one's a 1977, an homage to Toronto baseball. The other one's called the Jerry Park hat, which is an homage to Jerry Park, which is where the Expos first played. And then this one's just like, I thought, if I wear a black t-shirt and jeans, what's a hat I could rock with it?
That's a fire hat though.
Right?
I like that, yeah.
And then, so it's just everything we create is just, what would I want to wear? And then our t-shirts, I didn't want to have something where you wear it a couple times, you're like, maybe it's going to be something to wear to sleep. And I have a little bit of a retail background when I was in university, and I worked for Levi's, and they always had the red tab. And my son is a skater and he loves Vans, so they have the black tab. So I was like, okay, we're going to put a tab, because when you just conceptually, you're not going to sleep in a shirt that has a tab on it.
No.
Like it's almost too prestige. Yeah. So and I also didn't want it, I want it to look nice. So we really sourced our gear. We work with as many Canadian people as we can. So our original designer's Canadian, where we get our t-shirts printed. One's in Vancouver, one's in Toronto. So we try and get everything as locally sourced as we can. Sometimes it's tough. The people, when we order our new era hats, they're based out of Canada as well. So we try and keep it as Canadian as we can.
I love
for
that.
everything. I
love that. Now, because when we were on the phone call conversation, you spoke a lot about your wife and the brand. Where does she come into play with all of this?
With Jay Birdy?
With Jay Birdy,
the most supportive person ever. Mm-hmm. She'll come up with an idea. Hey, I got an idea for a crew neck. Hey, I got an idea for this. Let's do it. Like when the Jays had gone to we're making to World Series, let's get a shirt, let's get it out. Like, let's do it tomorrow. Let's get it ordered. The most supportive person imaginable, which I love. Mm-hmm. Like all in on it. And she'll talk to people and she'll say, like, let's do this. Or like we've got a whole collection coming up from 2026. And I would say that a lot of it is inspired by her. Like, we're going to go very vintage looking, and she's totally on board. Like, I love it. Because it's not just me. It's like it's us.
So you feel like there's gonna be a more sense of urgency with unisex more. Like,
I think even from the beginning was very unisex.
Yeah.
Like Amy wears our crew neck. She'll wear this hat. My sister-in-law wears it. There's people like there's a podcaster that had reached out. She's like, I love wearing this. Are you gonna put it in this color? So I think you're gonna see more navies and creams in 2026. So it's a little bit more unisex. And then from going to baseball games just recently during the playoff run with the Blue Jays, I was just looking to see, like, not just what are the guys wearing, because guys, like, listen, we know what we'll wear, hoodies, crew necks, but I was very interested in seeing, like, what's out there right now that women are wearing that could be unisex. And that's where a lot of that happens. So we're going to have a newer hat that's coming out that I think that women and men would love to wear. That's very popular, like a cream and a multicolor or a solid color here with a saying on it and Jay Birdy on the side, just different. And things that, my kids will say, like, people are wearing this in high school, or my friend in university is wearing this. So we're always looking at like what's new, and then also building that for our collection.
I love that.
But Amy is such a huge part of it. And that's the drive and the motivation. Like, I see what some of these United States brands are doing. Why can't we be that? Like, there's no reason why we can't be that.
Well, it's funny now because we're leaning into like the heavy in the entrepreneur.
Sure.
And I think, and there's no secret to this.
Yeah.
I'll say it. It might give me some little heat. Mm-hmm. I don't think when we look at what we're up against in Canada, a lot of folks are still about the 9 to 5, which is good.
Yeah.
But the entrepreneur is just starting to become new.
Yeah, I'm a 9 to 5er.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Amy's a 9 to 5er, but this is a side hustle, and why not?
Yeah.
Have some fun.
Yeah. And I think what happens is that so many folks think, well, if I have a dream, maybe I can't go pursue that because other folks will laugh
pursue
at me.
it.
There you go.
That's
right?
it. So that's my never give up attitude ever. Is that people go, oh, I have a great idea. Oh. I have been through brain cancer surgery, brain cancer radiation, brain cancer chemotherapy. So I'm not going to pass up on an opportunity. I'm never going to pass up on an opportunity. And I thought about this too. Like, I don't know much about my great-grandparents and my great-great-grandparents. I'm sure they had great fulfilled lives, but they're usually defined by like a sentence. I want to be defined as somebody that's just going to go out and do it and not look back and have any regrets. And I wish I could tell my 20-year-old self, do this, start this, try this, do that. Like, I wish I could, But in my 40s, I'm just going to go and do it. So with Jay Birdy, we're going to come up with a different collection. Let's just do it. Let's just try it. I think people will just go into the safe things. They got a couple extra bucks in their pocket. Maybe we'll get into some real estate. That's great. That's fun. And a lot of people will buy a condo and it's fun. Like that's cool. And you make a lot of money and that's great. But I want this to be a little bit more of like me, a little bit more arty, a little more like I listen to my kids. Like my little guy, Miki, he's got a great marketing mind. And he'll say, for Christmas, we should do a Christmas hat and we should change the logo. Like, all right, let's do it. So we did. So we came up with, it's a brand new hat and
I saw that yesterday on Instagram.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So let's do it. Like, let's do it. Like, so listening to the kids and just jumping right in. And why not be an entrepreneur? It's not like we're starting this massive company. And the idea is that it will get big and we would love for it to. That's the idea.
It's going to get big.
But don't hold back. Mm-hmm. When you wake up every morning, have a purpose. And if my purpose is, I've got a tremendously great 9 to 5, but I want something that's going to fulfill that 5:01 or let's say 6 o'clock till 12 in the morning. And during COVID, there was so much downtime. I was like, I need to focus on something. Like there was no baseball to coach, right? What am I going to do to occupy my 9:30 to 11? Like there's only so much YouTube you can watch. I'm not a gamer. So I learned so much through osmosis and I've learned so much from some great people and business people. Let's just jump in. Let's do it. What's the worst that's going to happen? We fail? Okay.
But you fail forward.
But I want to teach my kids that failure is also okay. So if we tried Jay Birdy and it doesn't work out, that's okay. Failure is fine. I think that people will say, hey, kudos for compliments for trying. And when we started in 2022 and the idea was kind of happening, I was telling my friends like, okay, that's cool. Let's see what happens. And in 2023, like, how's it going? And I was like, like we've got like less than 100 people on Instagram, but it's gonna build. It's gonna build.
I think you have to fail with whatever you're looking to do. It happens. It's life.
Life is failure.
Podcasting. You know how many times I failed in podcasts? I've lost episodes that I had to go recreate back again because of this things happen. I tell a story all the time. One of the cameras was on in another studio.
Okay.
I'm in a deep conversation with my guest, right?
Okay.
She has a podcast herself. Shout out to Sarah. And I'm going to be completely honest with you, man. This was maybe 2.5, 3 years ago. We're in conversation. I unplugged the SD card as the camera's still going. Corrupted data, right? And at the time I was dating somebody and she's like, oh my God, you're not upset. You're not upset. And I was like, no. And then I reached out to someone on Fiverr. They told me exactly what to do.
That's amazing.
The only thing that sucked about it, I had to go back to the studio twice in one day. She's like, all I need is just a recording. And this man salvaged the whole entire episode.
It's amazing.
What the hell?
Yeah.
No, it cost me a little bit.
Sure.
But still,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you go through those stories, you go through those motions, and you sit back to yourself and you're like, always remember, don't ever tamper with the camera.
Yeah.
And it still turned on.
But you learn these valuable lessons.
Exactly.
Life is all about lessons. And I think so much about what I've overcome just recently. Not the 13-year-old kid that went blind in one eye and wanted to pursue a baseball career. I mean, the 40-year-old who had a massive seizure and the doctor said the only way we can treat this brain cancer is by taking it out and you have to go through really rigorous chemotherapy and radiation. Okay. It was all, and people are like, you're just, because what's the next challenge? So I have a hypnotist. He's a fantastic guy. Luke Gnosis. He's incredible. And he gets my mind right. So how I have it in my head was, Amy and I were talking about, do you want the 3 o'clock appointment? Do you want the 1 o'clock appointment? And it was, let's get the earliest appointment, just like we're going to work. We're going to wake up every morning, going to put your pants on, you're going to work. That's your job. And then Luke helped me figure out that this is like my MMA fight. So I'm going to, every day I put on a hoodie, like a zip up hoodie. So if you're into MMA, you watch how they walk. They take their walk to the octagon. So take off my hoodie, strip down because you have to go in. They put this mask on me. And for 130 minutes or 145 minutes, however long it was, just like a little more than 2 hours, a little bit, I'm going to go in and they're going to do my MRI and they're going to zap me. And then I'm going to go do my chemotherapy. And that's going to be it. And I'm going to go home and that's my fight. So that's the fight. I have no give up. So to tie it all back, what's the worst that could happen? I fail at Birdy. I fail at the next thing that we try. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, that's like, even the way that I try and raise my boys now. It's like, okay, so you're trying this and you didn't do, okay. Like, that's okay. Like, it's okay. I failed many times. The fun about failure is getting yourself back up, dusting yourself off, and trying again. That's what it's all about. And I truly believe in a couple of words. And I learned this. My dad got me a no fear shirt when I went blind in one eye, and shows you how old I am. But it said desire, discipline, drive, determination. And those words are like what I need to get tattooed next on my body, because those are who I am. That's who defines me. Like, there's complete discipline. You know, the childhood drama, you're not going to beat anybody. Like, you cannot beat me. Like, cancer will not beat me. And I know that sometimes my boys were afraid, like, am I going to be okay? I'm like, don't worry. My mental mindset's fine. I'm going to walk in every day being positive. Like, what could possibly happen? I get diagnosed again. Let's go back. Let's do the surgery, do radiation, chemotherapy. Let's go back. Like, I'm fine. Like, I'm like, there's no failure to me is just obsolete. That's just.
And that's a sharp mindset to have.
Yeah.
Not many have it, though.
No, you got to wake up every day. That's a gift. Like I said earlier, I didn't ask to be here. You didn't ask to be here, but I'm going to make the best out of every single day. I lost my license when I had my seizure, and I thought that was actually one of the worst things. Not the radiation, not the chemotherapy, it was the independence of driving. But I learned to appreciate driving. I learned to appreciate it, because then it was taken away from me. Something that I didn't even know that I loved so much. But when I got my license back, it just was a random email that I received. And I thought, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to build a playlist. And because Amy is my best friend and I love her, she's going to come with me. And I want her to film me driving again. And I'm going to send it to all my friends that I'm back. A piece of me is back. Like, that's that never give up, right? And I was coaching baseball at the time, and I told all the kids, hey, I'm going to take BP. I'm going to hit batting practice again. I'm going to be a little rusty, but I'm going to be back. And it's just the little things, like a new appreciation. You know, I think Amy's lucky, because she'll say, like, should I buy this? Should I not? Always buy it.
Always buy it.
Buy it. Why
That's
not?
a hot take.
Why not?
He said always buy it.
Just buy it.
So it's a Lambo. Just buy it?
Well, if you can afford it.
Yeah, I got you there.
I don't know.
I got you there.
Maybe a Hot Wheel.
Yeah, I could do
That's
that.
fine.
For
A
sure.
nice green Lambo Hot Wheel is
How much
totally
are those
fine.
now? Like probably
$399.
$399?
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's either $399 or $399,000, which is not in our price range. But just go and do it. Like, we don't know. There's so many people who kiss their loved one goodbye and then something happens.
Yeah.
So go and enjoy life. Yeah. Life is too short. You know, God willing, like my mom passed away a couple of years ago. I've got my dad. My mother-in-law passed away a couple of years ago. I've got my father-in-law. I'm lucky that I've got two great people that are still great here, that are mentors. And I want to live to be that age. That's my goal.
And you're doing it.
Yeah.
You're living it.
Yeah.
As much as I'm listening to you here today, I sit back and I'm just like, you are the epitome of someone that I feel like there's so much more for you.
I hope so.
I feel like you haven't even hit your stride. And I'm going to tell you the reason why.
Okay.
Is because you're so locked in and dialed in. Just listening to you talk.
Yes. There's
so much I want to say, but it's because this is the podcast for Darryl himself, yes. Birdy himself. Yeah. So when I listen to you, and I'm gonna give you your flowers right here today. I hope somewhere in the line, you start your own show. You have your own podcast.
That'd be cool.
Because I'm going to tell you this right now. You have a lot of value.
Thank you.
And I'm listening and I'm warm. Like everything you're saying, I'm just warm. It's like a furnace. I'm warm because what you're speaking what a lot of kids that may not have a voice or parents or someone that's a guardian that they can live with, you can be that person.
I would love to be that person.
You know what I mean?
So with my kids, Amy was married and had the boys, and I was married before and got divorced. Amy had gotten divorced, and I met the boys when they were 4 and 3, and it was, let's give these boys the best life possible. So taking that kid who was 13 years old and lost his vision, wants everybody to smile, goes into that boys every day. That the person who coaches baseball and played baseball and knows that, 3 times out of 10 is considered Hall of Fame, that goes into those boys. Knowing that I can go blind in one eye before everything else happened, those goes into those boys. So they get that every single day. They get positive motivation every single day from both me and Amy. Like, she's overcome a tremendous amount of adversity too. And that those boys have as well. Like, they really have. So I would love to be a voice for kids, because I was not too long ago a teenager who was just not sure about like what's life. Like, I'm blind in one eye. I once had somebody call me a monster. So when I turned 18, I told my dad, these Goldie masks are really popular, but I want to get it painted like a cyclops, because I thought somebody once called me a cyclops. So I was like, I'm through with that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Just kids can be so cruel.
But to be that guy, I love to do a podcast.
Yeah, it brings me to something as we're winding down. I'm watching a show. I haven't had a chance to fully watch it. It's a miniseries.
Okay.
Adolescence.
Never seen it.
It's on Netflix. I'm gonna tell you, it won a bunch of Emmys.
Okay.
It's fucking good.
Okay.
Because it speaks to the youth.
Okay.
There's bullying.
Okay.
There's a lot of things where to someone I even recommend, I said, listen, watch it with your kids.
Okay.
I know that the nature of it can be a little, it's not graphic, it's in your face a little bit, because the stuff that they're talking about and they're covering, but it's common life right now. These kids are learning more than what we learned back when we were in high school.
My parents just put me in front of a TV.
You
and they're like, see, we're going out tonight.
Yeah.
We got a pizza for you. We've got a 2-liter bottle of pop. The Leafs are on. Saturday Night Live will probably be on, and when Saturday Night Live comes on, go to bed.
Right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was like I was born in the 80s and raised in the 90s.
But these kids are learning. I'm telling you, I know these kids learn about the birds and the bees a hell of a lot quicker than we did.
Sure they do.
You know what I mean?
Everything's in their hand. That's why.
Everything's in their hand.
Yeah, we had to go to a corner store and go to a magazine, or have an older brother or a cousin, right? And it was locked up. It was sacred. Everything was sacred at that time.
But these kids are talking, I know, on the playground, or they're in their groups, or they have group chats, and they're having all these conversations. And it's just like, I tell parents this, especially even with the aim of this podcast. When you hear conversations like this, really dial in. Yeah. It's not necessary to be, okay, let me listen to what Darryl Rory's saying, but hone into it. Take a piece of what Darryl's saying and see how can I extrapolate that to my son or my daughter?
Well, like my son, my little guy he's small. Well, he was small. He's not so small anymore, but that's what happens. And I have a coaching term that I always say that kids are like popcorn. They pop at different times. Some pop early. I've coached those 12-year-olds that are 5'10" or 6 foot, and they're like, oh my goodness. And then they plateau out. And then you look at a kid who's like super tiny when they're 7 or 8, and you're supposed to project them to what they're going to be in 10 years. And parents go like, oh, you took my son, or oh, you took that little guy. But that little guy is going to be 6'1" one day. But they all pop at different times. But my little guy was really bullied. He was different, right? He's a drummer. He's a golfer. And a lot of kids play hockey, and they're a little bit more trying to be super alpha dominating male, which is totally fine. But we had said, hey, you're going to go to an art school and play music like that. We're going to get you there. And there's a great line from Imagine Dragons. I'm going to botch it, but it's like the bullies are going to be the ones in the cheap seats watching you one day. And he's played a number of gigs. And I told him, like, you're 15 and you're playing like really legit gigs. If you put that in your brain that you're going to be something, it's going to happen. It's going to manifest. You're going to believe it. You're going to see yourself. Just keep believing it. And those bullies are going to be the ones who are going to say like, wow, I know that guy, Miki. I know him from elementary school. And you're just going to pass him off. And see with my other son, he's got great aspirations, whether it's accounting or law or doctor. He's got those. I'm like, manifest. Like, picture yourself in the white jacket. Like, those things are gonna happen. But my son was bullied, and if somebody like listens to this podcast, it's like, you got to be positive for your kid. You got to stand up for your kid. You got to do all those positive things to say, like, reinforce that. Hey, you're a little, like, you are who you are. You're a tremendous young person. You've got a lot to give to this world. Let's find let's find you, and like let's embrace that. Like, I had baseball. He has music.
I remember when I lost some podcasting equipment.
Okay.
And this would have been 2000 and 22.
Okay.
And I had a guest come on, and he's super exceeded now with social media coaching and all this. Money lands. Right?
Okay.
And I remember he said, anytime you make a declaration to anything you're wanting to do, that could be creating a brand, creating a business, always know that will be the devil's alarm clock.
Oh, I love that.
Because when you say something, he's going to also awake too. Because why? He's going to try to steer you off course.
Oh, of course.
And it's not to get too biblical, but it's like, I've seen that even this weekend. Bought a whole streaming setup that I'm going to be getting into, all that stuff, and bought a desk. And right when I attached the desk and I flipped it over, the desk broke.
Ugh.
Now I actually got to send it back to Amazon, right? But then I sat back to myself and I said, you have to go through some sort of adversity because you know where it is you're going.
Life is full of adversity.
There you go.
Every day, okay?
Yep.
You put your contact lens in, it ripped. You drop your glasses. You knew you needed to buy soap to wash your hands. You didn't have it. I was supposed to buy toothpaste, or it's cold outside. I wanted to get boots. I didn't expect it to snow. I was supposed to change my windshield wiper. Those are small adversities, right? And then you got to put it in perspective, right? Like, to me, I'm like, okay, then we'll figure it out. But everything in life has to, I want there to be adversity, because when everything's going too good, we have to look back and go like, okay, how do we get here? Right? You build a brand, you build a podcast, you get the people on social media like, wow, look, we've hit here, but let's look back. Let's actually find out where we had to overcome that adversity, because let's kind of maybe circle back and go back, because when things are good, you never look back. And then, like, my idea is there's some brands in the United States where I actually think, oh, I think they've hit their peak. I think they're just chill. Now we're going to go after them. Like, that's my goal, right? I want to be cerebral now.
You're starting something right now.
I want to be cerebral. I'm following you, because when you're chasing something like the Blue Jays, going back to the original part of the conversation, you're chasing that, there's something there. And then when you hit that peak and you're like, hey, we're good. We're the champions now. It's like, let's go full 360. We're the champions. What could be better? No, there's somebody always behind you. So the athlete in me, being blind in one eye, knowing that like I had to earn every spot, nothing was ever given to me on every elite team, university team, senior team, everything that I ever to work for, or in my job, there's always gonna be somebody behind me. I'm always looking back, because somebody wants your spot always. Now I'm like, okay, I'm going to run faster. I'm going to work harder. I'm going to be more driven. I'm going to be relentless. And that's who I am. That's how it is.
I love that you say that. And I'm extending my invite for you to come back on the show in the spring.
Yeah, let's do it.
By that time in spring.
Yeah.
Because there's something you talked about there at the end, which I wanted to get into. But the powers that be, I can't get into it right now.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But it's because you say you look at brands.
Yes.
And you start looking at their
business model.
Yeah. But then you start looking at the initial overall of what they're trying to project.
Imagine you've been after somebody, a guy, a girl, somebody for a long time. And maybe you're interacting. Like there's a brand that I've got my eyes like laser locked on. And I'm like, okay, what are they coming out with next? Why are they not coming out with new apparel? Like, they've got a licensing deal with this. Why are they not putting out more brands? Is it cash flow? Do they spend a lot of money on this licensing? I'm thinking about that over and over and over. I'm like, okay, so does Birdy need a licensing deal? No, maybe not.
Because you don't believe in fast fashion.
I actually don't want to be in department stores. I don't want to. It's all about quality and quantity. And, we're going to put everything in tissue paper. Once we lose that, we're done. Once we're in major, you're just going to put it in a bag and then it's going to walk off.
Any entrepreneur, and you even look at ideation with other brands, those started from entrepreneurship. But what happens is when you start putting other folks around, it loses its sense.
Absolutely. I don't want anybody touching our brand.
Right? You don't have purpose. The direction starts getting a little flawed a little bit. And so that's the reason why I support the young entrepreneurs that are growing up, building their brands, building their business, because y'all are the underdogs.
Yeah.
You have to go up against
my Nikes, whole life I've been an underdog, man.
This, the that, all of these different places. But the thing is, there's money out there for everybody.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, there's success for everyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love being the underdog. I love it. I think my whole life I've been the underdog. All right. Everything from like when I was a teenager, being blind in one eye, making all these teams, underdog. getting into my relationship with Amy, underdog. There's not a lot of men that would get into a relationship with a woman who's got 2 kids, underdog, but I'm going to be the best ever, not just a parent. I love when people say you do a lot for these kids. Yeah, I want to be better than a lot of parents anyway. Like that's, I might have a tattoo on my body. It says not from my body, but deep from my heart. I'm going to be the best. When it comes to my brain cancer, like I'm going to live tremendously long and tell everybody, doesn't matter how many surgeries I potentially could have or how many chemos or radiations or I'm on a boatload of pills, doesn't bother me, right? And with Jay Birdy, I know who we're after. My business plan knows who we're after. Amy knows who we're after. My kids know. And we're going to watch this U.S. brand and we're going to watch them. And then soon enough, we will never be America's baseball brand. We will always be Canada's brand. But we will be, hopefully, like a household name for everybody that loves baseball. So whether you're going to like the Sandlot, you're watching your kids doing T-ball, or you're going to go to a Jays game or a Vancouver Canadians game or in the Okotoks, you're going to want to rep Jay Birdy. Like that's what our goal is. We'll get there.
I love that.
Yeah.
Listen, that's where we're going to hold the podcast, my man.
Awesome.
Plug your brand wherever we can check you out. And what's coming up? Because there's a new launch that's out right now too. So make sure you plug that out.
So Jay Birdy Baseball Co. jbirdie.ca. That's where you go. We have online. Everything's online. You will love not just what you get in terms of quality, but also the presentation of when you get it to your door. Next year, we've got a lot of great things in store. We've got a brand new collection. We'll have new hats. We'll have new T-shirts, and it'll all be ready for, I'd like to say, opening day would be like that. That's ideal. We usually like to do things around April for springtime, just around spring. This is going to be the year. Goals that we have, I'd like to get as close to 10,000 followers on Instagram. That's a goal that we have. That's a goal that we have.
And I'm going to help support that too.
Thank you.
Especially what I'm doing.
So we're about, I think as of now, like 5,600. So that's doubling it, but we think we can accomplish that. I
love that. We
would like to be 3x in terms of our sales. I think that's very much possible. But if we land on 2x, that's just as good. But the ultimate goal would be to become a household name where people, like my wife and I, we go for walks around baseball diamonds because it's therapeutic. I'm not well enough to coach anymore, but I love walking around and watching a rookie ball game and pitching machine or the young guys and seeing somebody not just like at a Jays game, which is super cool, but like parents wearing like our apparel. That's what we like. That'd be the definition of success for us.
That.
Yeah,
Darryl, I appreciate the hell out of you, man.
Thank you.
Springtime.
I would love to.
I'm giving you the golden ticket.
Let's do it.
We're going to do it again.
I love that.
Maybe we'll do a baseball game as well, too.
Anytime.
Let's do that for sure, my brother.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime, my man.